I found out about Pine Cove Family Camp from my wife. She one day told me that, hey, this summer, our family and the Cox family, which is some of our best friends, are going to Pine Cove.
You know, I'm the mom, the wife. Of course, I planned it. I signed us up. I put it on our schedule. And then I'm telling my husband, this is what we're doing. And of course, I asked him, I'm like, hey, this is what it costs. You know, I want to know if we can do this. He's like,
okay. So I was like, what's Pine Cove? And she was, you know, it's a great camp that I keep hearing about. So I was a little scared, a little nervous about it.
We found out about Pine Cove Family Camp while we were seminary students at Dallas. We did a couple of retreats for the weekend while we were there, and I'd never heard of Pine Cove before, just there for a couple of days. We ended up I came back and told Chamblee that we couldn't go that summer. She said, I wonder if Pine Cove does family camp. She actually called the camp and asked if they had any family camp, you know, going on, and they basically said, hey, if you guys want to come, there's a spot that's opened up. And that was the first time we went back in 2005, and here we are, you know, 9 times later, you know, we're still going.
When we returned our second year, we brought 4 families with us. So it hasn't been hard for us to, everywhere we've been, we've talked families into going.
getting everything ready to go, and then pulling out of the driveway at 4:30 a.m. because it was 14 hours away, and thinking, are we really doing this? We are going to family camp in Texas, something that we've never done before, just because I heard a speaker say how great it was of starting this tradition. And I remember I was the one driving, it was 4:30 in the morning, it was still dark outside, and I remember gripping the steering wheel, and the kids are asleep, the bikes are on, the car is packed, my husband's asleep, and we're not really getting along at that time. And I don't remember the circumstances, I just remember we were not connecting as a couple. And I just remember gripping the steering wheel and just driving down the highway, and just tears coming down my face, going, I can't believe I'm doing this, we're going to family camp.
And I've never been to camp or anything like that. So I was like, what in the world are we doing? And it was just different. I was very skeptical. I'm like, what did I get myself into?
Then the first night, my husband looks at me and he's like, these people are wacky. And I'm trying to convince him that we're in our 40s, we don't even know how to have fun, they know how to have fun. And our whole problem is we don't know how to have fun.
Personally, I like driving there. I think it's fun because you get to think about what you're gonna do there on the way. And we usually always stop at Cracker Barrel.
One of the favorite things about a road trip going to Pine Cove is going to Cracker Barrel. Love it.
I remember going to Cracker Barrel a lot.
Bacon, hash brown casserole.
Anticipating all that's gonna happen, and we watch movies and sleep, but
Usually 2 helpings of hash brown casserole. Family camp is a foreign concept here. Like I said earlier, I'd never heard of family camp, had no idea what that was about. It's when you pull up, there's just a thoughtfulness. There's always a rose for the wife, there's always a root beer for the guy, and just an excitement and an enthusiasm with the gauntlet, which all these kids are jumping up and down and excited that you're there, and so just the enthusiasm.
So when we arrived at Pine Cove and we spent time with the counselors, we were beyond amazed, or just blessed, impressed, overwhelmed.
Louisville, brownie bites, Rover, baby steps,
Shock and awe from Jared, alligator charms.
I guess I'm more subdued kind of guy, kind of cynical of I'm a Christian, born again, but just a little cynical of Christian culture sometimes.
I like going to family camp because you don't get homesick and you don't miss your family and you can do stuff together.
Drumsticks.
Prom toms.
Pork chop.
Vans. Yeah.
Java.
Yeah, we know Zoinks.
Just, I watched the counselors, at lunchtime, at breakfast time, the lunchtime, the dinner time. I felt like the counselors were just doing nothing but serving people. And my cynicism towards them changed.
We found ourselves a couple times being brought to tears because we realized how much we lacked in our heart to have the attitude of being a servant, and to watch these kids that are in college. And I don't know what kind of lifestyle you lived in college, but these kids are not normal college students. And so to watch them serve me, my family, to watch them love on my kids who they've just met a few days ago.
Wednesday, I was sold. I was like, oh my God, this place is, I mean, you know, I'm a believer, so I started really just, after the third session in the morning, I don't know if we had a session that morning, I think we played golf that morning, but I just started feeling the Holy Spirit. I just felt this is a godly place.
Family camp has this way of just taking the weight of the world off of your shoulders. And once you get a deep breath, you remember why you got married, why you even decided to have kids, and then why you're even a family, and what's so important about being a family.
I think dads that are skeptical, they don't get it. They're thinking, oh, I gotta do this, and it costs this much money, and it's gonna be this, and you know, I just don't have the time and the effort to put into this. I just wanna say, good. You don't have to they're gonna pour into you, and then what you put into it is gonna be from a fire that is a flame that started, and you're gonna want to. It's not that you're gonna have to. When you do pour back into your family, it's because there's something going on in your heart that you're gonna crave being a good dad.
That could be like, oh no, work is happening, or I got a whole lot of work. My mom's like, oh, we got this, and then just problems in life. And then we go to family camp, it all kind of goes away for a while. Like, oh, I'm here, and you know, we like cherish that time that we have, that like once a year we get to go, and it's really worth it, all of it.
Your family leaves, we're closer, we're like bonded.
Pine Cove is a rudder for our family, and so it just keeps us every year with all the things that are pulling at a family all year. It goes back and helps me get centered, continue to think, what direction are we going? What do we want to cast off? What do we want to include? And it's just this beautiful place where I can think through all that. And I think couples, I know that sometimes I've gone on vacation and I get back and say, Lord, I don't know where you were, because I think I set you on the shelf for the week, because all I did was, you know, try to relax and have a good time. But Pine Cove it just makes it easy to be refreshed spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and you have these great memories.
You drive all that way, it's totally worth the sacrifice, and then you pull into those gates, and then you have a whole cheering section cheering you on. I mean, really. It's like going into heaven.